Hey guys, what's up? Alright, here's my story. Anything that is even remotely associated with aliens, alright? I'm going to tell you about it in this video. You guys know about the shadow people that went through the yard between 1979 and 1982. If you want to hear about that, you can watch some of my... I think it's in my video, in my holographic projection video that I just uploaded. It's in that. You can go listen to it there. So that was one of the experiences that, I don't know, were they aliens? I freaking don't know, you guys. All I know is that I was petrified, and petrified's not even the right word. The fear was so intense that I was terrified for 20 years after that, okay? Terrified. Like, that's not even the right... Terrified, petrified, they don't even come close to describing the level of fear that I had for 20 years after that incident. Okay? So what I did was, you know, several years ago, I sat down and I tried to remember more details about that event, to try to remember what scared us so bad, because it wasn't just me, it was the other kids too they're terrified of that memory. I mean, the one girl, she started sucking her thumb after that. I mean, it was really terrifying. And so what happened was I sat down and tried to remember more about it, and I thought maybe it was the shape of their heads that was so scary. Maybe, but I'm not sure about that. I can't. That part of it's not clear in my mind. Okay. It's clear that they went through the yard. That memory is clear, but the shape of their heads is not clear. It seemed like they were elongated, kind of like the Egyptian skulls, but I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm sorry if I sound agitated. I hate this. I'm doing this for you guys. And to just get the information out in case something happens to me. I just feel like this information needs to be out there. And I think everybody should talk. If you've had experiences, I think you should say something too. Next time I think I had an experience was in 1997. I had a job interview. It was at a restaurant. And I remember I went to the interview, and it was in the evening, and it was dark out. And I thought it really didn't matter, because I was living on a hill, and the restaurant was just at the bottom of the hill. So I was like, oh, I'll just go to this interview. And I go down there, and the restaurant was just closed. It was closed. And it looked like they had never had anybody in that restaurant for, like, years. Because the tables, it was dark. In the restaurant, it was dark, and then there was just the light from the bar area. That was kind of, I don't know, dark, kind of dark in there. And then there were, like, all the chairs were on top of the tables, and there was this cloth. All the tables were covered with cloth. So it looked like they weren't even, it just looked like it was completely closed. I don't know. It's so weird, you guys. I just don't even know. And all I remember about that was, first of all, I didn't get the job, okay? But the only thing I remember about it was just there was something weird, something really, really weird about it. But the only thing I remember was the lady's eyes, because I had an interview and it was a lady. And I remember she kind of asking weird questions, but I can't remember what the questions were. And in her eyes were really, really dark. Normal eyes, like human eyes, except they had this squiggly line in the pupil area. And I'm not sure what that was. It wasn't a reflection from a light, because the light was emanating from behind her. The bar area where the light was, the only light in the room was from the bar area that I remember, and that was behind her. So I don't know. I don't know, okay? I just don't know. There was something weird about that. And at that same place that I lived, there was this one day when I accidentally locked the keys in my car, and it was during the day, and I called the locksmith, and the locksmith showed up, and he's doing all this weird stuff. He couldn't open my door. He's doing all this weird stuff. And he called somebody else to come over and help him. And, I mean, this is a locksmith, okay? And he's like, I need to call my supervisor. And his supervisor shows up in a black sedan. And this is like out in a country town. This is not, this is in a country town. And it's a locksmith, and his supervisor shows up in a black sedan. He gets out, and his dude is freaking abnormally tall, okay? Not only that, the man comes over and starts petting my head like I was a dog or something. And the neighbor's dog, well, actually, it was my landlord's dog was freaking out beyond belief, like barking, like just freaking out at this dude. And he was like, can you go take care of your dog? And I don't know what was going on, but it was weird, you guys. It was a freaking very weird experience, okay? Alright, and he was abnormally tall and thin, and he was petting my head like I was a freaking animal, and the dog was freaking out and barking at him, and he was driving a black sedan. It was the whole freaking thing was freaking weird, okay? That was at the same place. Okay, at that same place. No, I'm not even gonna say that. That's not even relevant. Alright. Then next thing I remember was like from the years 2000 to 2004. And I was living in this one town, and I lived in this one city, and I lived in two different, it wasn't in California. It was, anyway, I was living in two different apartments. And that first apartment was the same apartment where I had the needle mark in the roof of my mouth, okay? And I had a dream. I had a dream that Santa Claus was on the roof of the building next door. Okay, and I had this apartment where my window faced the top of the building next door. The top of the building next door, its roof was right under my window. And I had a dream that I had this really weird, vivid dream that had some kind of profound effect on me for some reason. And all I remember was it was like Santa Claus. I dreamt that Santa Claus was on the roof out there. But I mean, it seems stupid, but I don't know. But there was something about that was just weird. And then in that same apartment, I fell asleep with the TV on one night. It was one of the few times I ever had a TV, and I like fell asleep, and I woke up. I swear I woke up in the middle of the night, but for some reason I keep thinking it had to have been a dream because of what I saw. Because when I woke up, I saw on the TV, I saw a man and a lady, and they had light colored eyes, like blue eyes, I think, blue or gray or something, very light colored eyes. But there was something wrong about their eyes, the color of their eyes or something, but I can't remember what it was. And I was really scared. I mean, really, really scared. I can't explain the fear level that I had. And then right after that, I saw a man on the TV, and he had solid black eyes. Like there were no whites in his eyes at all. It was just solid black. Other than that, they looked human, but it was just their eyes that were weird. I was so friggin' scared from that. And then, I don't know. I guess it was just a dream. But there's something I forgot before that. Before that, like in 95, 96, around in there, I started having these recurring dreams. And the recurring dreams were that I was in an elevator and I was shooting up to the moon. And again, it was friggin' scary. Like beyond scary. Like, I just can't even describe to you guys how friggin' scary it was. And I kept having this dream over and over and over again. It doesn't sound scary when I'm saying it right now, but believe me, like in my dream, it was one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my life. And I just remember, like, I was in this elevator, but the elevator didn't have any walls. And I was shooting up to the moon. Like, can you imagine? I was like, started out, you know, I started out in a building, and then I shot up out of the top of the building and just kept going higher and higher and higher, and I just went all the way up to the moon. It was freaking so scary. I just can't even describe it. It was so scary. And I kept having that dream over and over and over again. And then I started having dreams about a base on the moon, and I would have these dreams that I was on the moon. I had this dream that I saw okay, this is what happened, all right? In my dream, well, I surmised that I was on the moon, okay? Because in my dream, I was walking in a line of people, and we were walking in between two buildings, but we had to go outside. In order to get from one building to the other, we had to go outside. And in my dream, we were told not to look up. We were not allowed to look up. But I looked up anyway, because I was like, can't look up? Screw you, I'm looking up. And but for some reason, it was really hard to do. Like, physically, I was trying to make myself look up, and it was super hard for some reason. Like they had some kind of control over our heads or something, and I was like pushing and pushing, and I was able to look up, and when I looked up in the sky, I saw what I thought was the moon in the sky. But then as I continued look, I was like, wait, that's not the moon, that's the Earth. And then I realized that the Earth was in the friggin' sky. So that was a really, really freaking weird dream, okay? And I kept having these reoccurring dreams about this place that I guess was on the moon. I don't know, because I look up in the sky and there's the Earth. I mean, where else could it be? I don't know. I guess it could be anywhere, but it wasn't on Earth. That's all I know. We weren't on Earth in that dream, okay? Weird freaking dream, and they were disturbing dreams, okay? And then there were all kinds of stuff, like people walking through the walls in those dreams and stuff like that, and the buildings were orange, and I can't even really remember that well anymore. I think they were orange buildings, though. Alright. So I kept having these dreams of being in an elevator going up to the moon. Then later on, I'm not kidding you, later on, like years and years later, because this was in like 95, 96, years and years later, Michio Kaku comes out and says, well, at some point in the future, we're going to have elevators that go up to the moon. I am not freaking kidding you. Like, as stupid as that sounds, because when I had those dreams, I was like, that's the stupidest thing I could ever even imagine. That's so stupid. I guess apparently it's not stupid, because now mainstream scientists are talking about they want to do that in the future. Our world is friggin' weird, you guys. It's friggin' weird. Alright. It's probably going to end up being 2 videos. So, the next thing that I remember... Oh, yeah. There's another one. During that same time, 95, 96, I used to have these reoccurring dreams, again, about this... Well, I mean, I always thought it was a train, but I'm not sure what it was. It was a room. In my dream, I was in a room, and there was like these... And on the sides, there were no windows in the room, but at the top of the room, I could see flashes of light in the corners. You know what I mean? Like in the corner, in the top corner. Let me stop this and start the next video.